Right. I am going to call to order the November 19th meeting of the West School Board. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order of business is to seek nominations for a board chair. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Cassandra.
I second.
Thank you. Must mean I'm doing something right now. Are there any further nominations? Nominations ceased. Is there any discussion?
She did a good job last year. She'll do it again this year.
Thank you. With a few less mishaps in the readings.
Yeah, you do.
All right, then I will call a vote. All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, Casey, the meeting is yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, I'll call to nomination of the election of the vice chair. And I would like to still elect Joanne if you.
I would do it if no one else will do it. I just feel like after 2 more years, after 9 years of doing this, I will not run re-election. So if anyone wants to be in training,
Yeah.
that would probably be a good step. So I don't know if anyone wants to continue on. I don't know, Bob, if you're into. I've done it. It'll be 9 years after, so I feel like
I completely understand.
I've put my time in. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do it if no one else did. But I'm thinking if someone wants
I
to
could be bludgeoned into.
okay.
I'm
I
fine
know.
doing whatever's needed of me as well.
I nominate Bob. Will you?
Your face does not look happy, Bob. Six F of the MRSA for the purpose of discussing confidential records, and we have to make a motion to do that. I make a motion to go into executive session. Nate will second. All in favor? We are in executive session, so we head to the All right, welcome back. Item number 7, return to regular session. Here we are. 8, approve or amend minutes from our last meeting on August 20th, 2025. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Nate will make a motion to approve. I will second. All in favor? Bob, do you? Okay. Unanimous. Adjustments to the agenda. I have none. Emily, you
Did not receive any.
no adjustments. Public comment.
You're published.
Let me look online. There are no public comments.
No public comments. Item 11.1, the financial committee. Payroll warrants I signed on 8/29, 9/12, 9/26, 10/9, 10/24, and 11/7. And then for AP warrants, Casey and Bob signed on 9/4, 9/15. Is that correct, 9/4? Okay, I'm sorry. That was 14. 9:30, 10:15, 11:15, and 11:19.
11:05 and 11:18.
Oh, excuse me, 11:05 and
handwriting.
11:19. 11.2, policy committee.
Okay, the policy committee met both in October and November, and we're working on new required policies, which you're going to see a little bit later in the agenda. We also had some conversations around JFABA, which is our school choice policy. Some of those updates that we'll need to talk about are due to the contract versus withdrawal agreement. And then we also have some questions around assessment rules that we're working with the state to clarify before we change the policy. But we'll be bringing that policy back to the table in December. We've also had some preliminary conversations about Narcan policies and being able to support opioid overdoses, but we had lots of questions about those policies, and we need to do more work around those before we can bring them forward. So those are some of the things that we've been working on.
It was a good conversation. Something that was needed, probably. Thank you. Item 12, superintendent's report.
In terms of the financial report, with 62% of the year remaining, our budget is currently has 70% remaining. So we are in good shape there. 70%.
70.
Here's your opinion.
It's still early in the year. You know, we've paid our September and October tuition, but not our November. So, but I feel pretty good about how cost centers are tracking. We've had a couple unanticipated expenses in regards to bills, so that'll be the line that will likely be overdrawn in June, but I feel comfortable about being able to make it up in other areas. I needed to run new electrical wiring to the parking lot lights, which is why you came in the dark today. But thankfully, Nate keeps us all lit up, so we're able to see. But that project should be completed on Monday, just in time for our conferences, which is good. But otherwise,
No problem.
all of our budget plans are tracking as they should.
Next one. Thank you. District updates.
Okay, so it's wild actually to say that we're actually coming to the end of trimester 1. It happens really fast where for a little while you say, it's okay, it's only October. We've only been in school for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden here we are at the end of the trimester. But we've had a really nice start to the year, and we've had several new staff members this year. It's given us a good chance to review and in some cases update our prior procedures and make sure we're all on the same page with operations. And they've also brought in fresh perspective for us. You know, one of the things that we're really excited about here is once we have staff members, they stay for decades. So it's actually been a really long time since we've had new staff, and it's been nice to have new perspectives along with new staff. Fall has been relatively predictable, which actually is a really good thing. I'm quite happy that it's just been calm and as you would expect, no big surprises. We had a seamless fall testing window, completing our state assessments in September and October. We've had our first safety drill with students, and we had the support of the Sheriff's Department and the Saginaw County Commission's office. Fifth graders started their boat building program. They actually have already finished their first project. They brought their stools home last week. They had a very successful Chwonky encampment, and they will be here hopefully next meetings to be able to talk. They weren't quite ready this time around. Today we had our harvest meal. Thank you to Dr. Weir for helping to serve. Mrs. Labby and our new school cook, Miss Moreau, we put together a beautiful lunch. We had 235 people come through the lunch line.
Wow.
And it was pretty festive. How did it feel on your end, Nate?
It was good. I just ended up eating Alex's food. And then I asked him what he had for lunch, and he couldn't tell me.
Well, you
You're
ate
like,
it.
I ate it.
Well, he couldn't even remember that I ate it.
Oh.
That's funny.
But he looked cute in his turkey hat. Right?
Yeah, I matched him.
So it's a nice way to kick off the winter season, and we get to see families a whole bunch of times in the next few weeks coming up. I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Moore and Mr. Bodish, who brought back the concept of after-school clubs after a very long absence. The pandemic sort of has slowed down some of our after-school activities. So their concept is that they, and then hopefully other staff members as the year progresses, will host a variety of different types of activities for groups of kids for a few weeks at a time after school and geared at different grade levels. So they recently kicked off their after-school crew with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders with a board game crew. And it was a nice way to start. It's been nice having kids in the building after school again. And so thank you to Mrs. Moore and Mr. Bodish. Our enrollment is steady. Student count is the exact same as last year. In K-12, it's also exactly the same, which is sort of wild. We've had an influx of middle school students, but that was offset by some departing high school students who made some other high school choices. In terms of budget numbers, our counts are accurate. What we had predicted is what we have. So we'll wait till tuition comes out next month to sort of get a sense of how we're doing budgetarily. But our numbers are solid, and so that is good.
What's the total? 107, 105? For our school.
For our school, 103.
103.
Yeah. And then, thought I had brought the high school numbers with me. $120 at the upper end.
For 6 through 12, right?
Yes.
120 is the tuition ones.
In your board packet, I gave you the Q1 attendance. So we are required to talk about attendance quarterly. And I have to report out on chronic absenteeism, which is any students who have been absent more than 10% of their school time, or truancy, which means they've had unexcused absences up to 7 times or more. And so for the first quarter, which was 21 school days, you can see our chronic absenteeism list. Publicly don't want to necessarily say, but I'm really good with where these numbers are. I feel like things were in pretty good shape for the first quarter.
Good.
In terms of upcoming events, next week, student-led conference is on Tuesday. Our craft fair hosted by the community crew on December 6th. We have a 4th and 5th grade winter concert on December 8th. Our celebration of learning on December 12th. Our K-3 winter concert on December 15th. And Little Elf Shop on December 18th. And trimester 2 is off and running.
Sooner or later.
Lots of things happening. But those are my updates.
Excellent. Thank you. A lot going on. Very fun. All right. 13 new business. 13.1 point E, C, S, E, transition cohort readiness. And there is a discussion on this. So there is our packet somewhere.
Okay. So the ECSE is Early Childhood Special Education. And so in April 2024, actually legislation was passed that requires that FAPE responsibilities for 3 and 4 year olds, it's really 3 to 5 year olds that are currently with CDS, are going to shift to local school districts. And so districts could choose when to take over those responsibilities, but they have to have done so fully for the 27-28 school year. And so in the first year, a handful of districts said, yes, we're going to jump in and we're going to do this. I think might have been 7 districts, so a very small amount. There were about 15 who did it this year in the second year. I wasn't sure that I was really interested in going towards it until our 4th year, but I went to a full day workshop in October where I sat with the State Department and listened to other school districts also talk about their experiences. And I would like to sort of begin the readiness process to see how we feel and where we are in terms of beginning to think about this transition for 3 and 4 year olds. And so what this really means is that we would be responsible for managing the child find, which is having relationships within our community to identify students who might need special education services at 3 and 4 year olds. Right now, CDS does that. And so the schools would take that on. The reason they want that to happen is they feel like that's a more cohesive way for students from birth through adult to have services. CDS has a really hard time with actually getting kids to services and getting services to kids. And so they feel that schools are going to be a more appropriate way to do this. But it's a lot to take on. And so the first year, no brainer, sit out, wait and see what happens. I actually talked with our CDS people about it. They're like, yeah, this isn't going to work. Don't jump in and do it. And so it was a wait and see. But so next year, if we were to jump in, we could choose to just take on 4 year olds, or we could choose to take on 3 and 4 year olds. If we wait for the following year, you have to take on 3 and 4 year olds and you're just in it and doing it without support. Where if we decide that we are ready, then the state supports the process of once I complete my readiness assessment, then there's a series of professional development and technical assistance that the state provides, and they work with you. You have to meet with them once a month to sort of talk through that transition. You have to participate in planning and monitoring the transition with them on a monthly basis. You provide them data and updates, make a staffing plan, budget plan, and then you have to be part of cohort meetings, trainings. If we waited till the last year to do that, then the whole state's trying to figure this out at once, and that support from the Department of Education sort of either disappears or has to be divided between most of the state. So what I would like to do is just begin the investigatory process. We have to commit by February. And so I'm going to attend tomorrow night sort of a meeting of all those who are interested in investigating. And then next Tuesday, just a West Bath meeting with the State Department to be able to ask questions specific to us. And it doesn't change the way we do preschool yet. It just changes who has the responsibility and the oversight for special education for those 3 and 4 year olds.
Should we be at that meeting?
I think when we get to talking about committees, maybe we do a standing committee. We have some we are able to take off because we don't need. And if there's a board member who's interested in being a part of that process, then absolutely I'd welcome that. Otherwise, I'll sort of give you an update back in December of where we are and where it looks moving forward. We would not be moving forward without the board saying, yes, we're all in and we want to try this. This would be a board decision. But I need to gather more information and determine our readiness before I can even have that conversation. One of the things to just know is that the way it is set up, it's a funding formula that's separate than our 279. And so it's actually 100% of the costs are paid for. And so you will get, actually, the way they figure it out is they say, this is the number of students you're probably going to have. Here's the amount of students, the cost per student that we're going to give you up front. And then there are 4 checkpoints along the way where we say, okay, this is how many students you actually have, and then they adjust from there. Another reason to not necessarily wanting to wait is some of that money may disappear in terms of like setup money. They actually have said so. Like right now, if we decide to move forward and we had to hire staff in advance, they can give us some money up front. In another year, they can't do that. But this also has budgetary implications because we probably would have to hire staff. I know that, or I assume I can't take this on myself, but then there's benefits. So if we're hiring staff, what other roles can they take for our 6 to 12 piece or for special education director? Like what's the big picture for our district? And so I feel like there's some real opportunities to sort of think about, yes, it's 3 and 4 year olds, but it's also big picture for 3, 4, 5 through 12.
The benefit for all of the others.
Right.
Too. Yeah.
And so I think this is important that we investigate, talk about. I looked through the readiness survey, and it's all sort of where your preschool program is, and there's nothing there that really feels like that concerns me. But I want to have more direct conversations with them before we.
Is it like a personal education plan for the 3 and 4-year-olds?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's identification processes and making sure that they get the services and
Yeah,
transportation
whatever
to services.
Wow.
And if we don't have them in a preschool program, where I can enroll them in preschool programs where they can get their
Right,
services.
because the Y usually has a lot of, and then the other Head Starts here in Bath at least that I remember.
But right now, so those students who I have at the Y, they're my students, but I don't manage any of their special education.
Right.
And so
This would be
we would take that over. We'd work through all of the identification processes with the 3 and 4-year-olds. But there's real benefit to that too, because the longer you know a family and know a student, the better you can
Or gives you a
prepare.
heads up when they enter kindergarten.
Yeah.
And then more importantly, the earlier they get services, the more likely they're not going to need them as they progress forward. And so there's
How many teachers or educators would just be needing to be hired?
it may not be that it's anybody. It may be that we can service with what we already have. It's probably developing more contracts with speech and OT
Sure.
providers, and probably not necessarily expanding our pre-K partners, but if our pre-K is exhaustive, like finding other places where they can go and then helping them connect them to services, and then managing those contracts and then working through their reimbursement processes. But it's also the working with families and getting to know them, getting to know the kids, and that's the part that there's huge benefits to that part of it, rather than having them come to kindergarten and not know school and not know us, not know them.
It's definitely benefits, but also, that's a lot of a lot to take on too. So maybe definitely thinking about a position or something,
Or are there ways to combine the roles with other districts? One of our neighbors is doing cohort 2 right now. So this will be cohort 3 we'll be talking about. And so there are things that I can sort of learn from them, but also or another district in this direction, do we morph a position, or is there something that we want to think about can't say K-12, 3-year-olds on that would be really good for us overall and help to manage just other things that we're maybe would be good for us to do in a different way. Yeah.
Like special ed director.
Perhaps.
We've had that conversation in the past.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
So I think it's I don't want to not investigate it and then next year wish that we had. And so where we're sort of hitting that perfect window of needing to sort of lead up to a February decision, I want to be all in with that process and then see where we are.
So the people who are saying don't jump into it, it's not going to happen. Are they not saying that anymore?
No.
It's pretty much going to happen.
Oh, it's happening. I think the reason people didn't jump in at first is just because there were so many questions about how is this possibly going to work. And so it was more of, well, you don't have to be the first one to figure out how it's going to work. In one of the meetings I had in October, sitting with the school district about talking about the benefits that they've sort of experienced by overseeing the programs, though it really won me over. I can really see how this is good for a district. And I think that the state actually is seeing that it's cost effective and makes more sense economically as well.
So I'm not seeing a lot of huge issues because the pre-Ks are already have a place. But what do the 3-year-olds do? Do their parents bring them to OT or speech?
So it depends. If they're in a school that has access to having a provider there, then they can have services there. But the bigger issue is that getting access to providers is the real challenge.
Yeah.
And where schools already have those relationships, that's really one of the benefits is being able to use your existing contractors you already have, being able to help them, encouraging them to know they have a commitment for hiring more staff, rather than having kids not get any services at all. And then there are some families who, if their kids aren't in preschool necessarily, then they're not getting any services.
In this area too, I feel personally connected to this, as you know, but in this area I really struggled with that with my own kids, and we actually were on a waiting list for 2 or 3 years to get into pathways in Brunswick at the time. for services for speech and OT.
And that is the norm. It's a multi-year wait
I was
list.
gonna say, I read that.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's a multi-year wait list.
That was with us
They
too.
don't have those.
And I didn't even know, I didn't really have the resources enough. I went through that process with speech and OT, and it was like, so this would provide that understanding and that support to the families, and then getting to know the students too.
And so even if I had a West Bath student who was attending a private preschool in Brunswick or Topsom but needed services, then I can help to connect them to those services and have contractors either go to there or arrange for transportation to get them to contractors. I wouldn't pay for their preschool because it's provincially placed, but I can still work with them, give them services, even though they're not in West Bath or part of our pre-K program in Bath. So it opens up opportunities for kids.
Traditionally, does the family's pediatrician make the referrals? Is that where you usually see those referrals coming from?
It can be
Yeah,
through
mine
pediatricians. It can be
In my
children's parents who just are concerned about their children's progress or hitting milestones. It can be if there are in a preschool program or a daycare providers making those referrals.
And will they each like have to have an IEP meetings? Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, we go through the same process.
But CDC, Child Development District,
Yes.
CDS currently does all that.
Currently they do.
Are they gonna be phasing out like that, like the CDS?
Yes, they'll phase out.
Wow.
Well, by 2028, we have to have all the responsibilities for the.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Did you say you already have a
Actually, Joanne had emailed me a couple months ago about it, and I said, no, I'm not ready to think about it.
I know,
And then
because I've been
almost-
reading it, and I'm like,
Almost
That's
a
a
week
lot.
later, I was sitting at the superintendent's meeting, and it ended up, I then changed all my sessions and just spent my whole day doing different perspectives on this and walked away saying, how can we not, like, at least investigate it?
yeah. How are you feeling about it? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Because I felt overwhelmed when I read it.
Yes, but I also feel like there's opportunity. It's good for kids. And I feel like there's opportunity for us to talk about how does this fit into our structure and how is there benefits for everybody
And
potentially.
there is support from the state.
And there's support from the state. And there is that support next year, where the following year there may not be.
It's a lot.
And also I like the concept that we could just decide to, if we went ahead next year, we could just do the 4-year-olds
So, yeah.
and then add in 3-year-olds the next year.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't have to be all or nothing, but if we waited another year, then there's less money, there's less support from the state, and it's everybody all at once.
Do you have an idea of how many students?
I don't. They're going to provide us with what they currently are serving. I think our incoming CDS numbers when we have kindergarten transitions range between usually around 3. Yeah, so it's probably 6 to 10 would be my guess.
It's not.
Yeah.
But
Still
I know, I'm just from my daughters in that age group, the 3 to 4-year-olds now. But I think a lot of 3-year-olds get recommended from a nutrition, so that might be a little more than. But they, like you said, they intervene early,
Yeah.
and usually the issue.
Especially speech.
You're right. It's
Especially
usually a
speech.
short-term intervention. It's not something that's long-term.
So I just wanted that to be on your radar.
Thank you. Okay. 13.2, the first reading of board policy. The first policy we have is EBBD, temperature standards for school. This was in your board packet. I'd be more than happy to read it if you'd like me to, or if you've already been able to review. I will pass on reading unless Emily.
Well, let me just give you a little bit of background. I did put in your board packet the overview from MSMA around the legislation that requires schools to adopt this policy. And then I also, I think in the last months, I put in a newspaper article just to give you a perspective of sort of what's happening around the state around this. It actually really stems from the concept of wanting to have heat pumps in schools. And so, and you're wanting to make sure that if you're building new construction that you're putting heat pumps in. And so policy, that's what sort of stemmed the legislation and causes us to need to make this policy. The policy committee looked at MSMA's recommended policy, and they wanted to make sure that we weren't recommending that we just close schools if things are too hot or too cold, that's not what's in your policy, but rather the steps that you would take. And so that's what you see in here. We had put in that the board believes optimal environment or comfort zone for teaching and learning is between a minimum of 67 degrees and a maximum of 82 degrees. We actually didn't make that up. That actually is what is, if you Google what is the optimal environment comfort zone for teaching and learning, those are the numbers, except for it actually is 68 degrees. Our thermostats are set at 67.5, and then once you add kids, it heats right up. And so I put that in there. Mr. Bodish and I this summer looked at our temperature records from this past summer, and no room hit a temperature of higher than 82 degrees in the summer months. And so I felt comfortable being able to leave it at that 82 degrees. That doesn't mean it doesn't get hot in this building sometimes. And we do close shades and we do turn on fans, and sometimes we relocate to other spaces. But in our one-story building, we've been able to mostly manage. And so the policy just talks about things that we can do when it's hot or cold, adding layers, moving, changing location.
I'm sorry, did you say that was during the summer for summer school?
Mm-hmm.
So you think it's more of an issue when you provide summer school than during a regular school year?
No, where you see the issue would be, well, if you have, a bunch of 90 degree days in a row, the building heats up. It's a brick building, so it holds heat. But I don't think there is a big issue here. I think if you have a multi-story building, then it is. Being on a third floor is problematic. We don't have that issue here. We did this year for the first time in summer school put an air conditioning unit in one of the classrooms just because we had the opportunity to do so. But when the kids were in the gym, they didn't need it. Just the space different. The temperature was different in that kind of space.
And this was just a policy that they were requiring us to do. So it was Bob and myself went over. It was very riveting. But it all is kind of pretty much what you've been doing all along, anyways. So. Thank you for saving me from having to read that. 13.2.2 J. And I-C-J, cell phones and other personal electronic devices in school. This is another policy that we discussed in the policy committee.
This is another newly required policy based on legislation that says that every school district has to have a cell phone and personal device policy. And so the contents of this policy are exactly what it said in our handbook already, so it's not a change at all for us. It just puts the information in policy. And so the gist is that students aren't to have devices at school. If they do have them, they're to be often in their backpacks because sometimes parents need them to have them. If they come out of their backpacks, then they're taken by me and they are given back to only an adult, not to a child. But this is a minimal issue within our school, and these are the rules we've always followed within our handbook. It just puts them into policy. The one thing that is different that we did add is that we can have exceptions to the rule if someone needs a cell phone for like monitoring a health condition like diabetes, for example, or if their IEP or 504 plan requires them to have a device. Otherwise, what we've always done is we'll just stay in practice.
I noticed on the letter or the email from Maine School Management Association at the end, they had a little blurb about staff members using their phone. Is this policy just pertaining to students, or should we have another policy pertaining to staff members?
So this is just for students. The blurb at the end of main school management said that teachers should basically practice, have good practices, that they're modeling good behaviors for students. The policy committee actually did draft one for staff, but I have not had a chance to talk about it with my staff and get their feedback and input, and so I'm not ready to bring it forward because I really feel like we need to talk about, what the new legislation says around kids and then what that means for teachers. But I want them to be part of that process.
Yeah, because I think, obviously, I don't think cell phones are a huge issue for children at this age, but I am concerned about staff being on their phones during instructional time. I know RSU one, it was just the year I left, but I thought it was, part of that policy was you could not have your phone except during lunchtime. So I know it's in my opinion, it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people my age were, but I saw it as staff members had it on the playground or in the cafeteria, and we're monitoring students, and I was just like, hey, but obviously it wasn't my place to say it, but I just noticed it was creeping in, maybe not during so much instructional time, but during monitoring students, during
You don't want any students wandering off.
right, and that's exactly what I thought of.
So again, we did draft one, but I would like to really go through it and get the feedback from staff and then bring it back to policy committee, and then we can talk about it at the board
They
level.
might have input too, that might be
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
Some might
I just feel like that's more
Yeah.
where the issue
Yep.
is.
.3 approval of the comprehensive emergency management plan. This is annual approval. I will make a motion to approve that plan. Nate seconding the motion. All in favor? Unanimous. 13.4 board standing committee assignments. So we need action on this, and this is, you have this on one of your pages right there, Bob. And this is currently what our, who was signed up for which committee?
Committees.
Here it goes. And well, as we've done in the previous years, we can just go through, and if you'd like to stay on that committee, or if you'd like to swap, or whatever we
We
would
need
like
to
to do.
find a committee for our new
Well,
board
yeah.
member.
Yes, for sure. Because Isabel is
She only had negotiations.
okay. She only had negotiations, and that's not gonna.
It's a low negotiation year.
And also the committee that you're looking to put possibly together. I don't know if you want to discuss that too now.
I do. I'd like to take off the tuition agreement ad hoc. We don't need that for another 9 years.
Yep.
And then I'd like to add an ECSE committee.
What's it called?
ECSE, it's the Early Childhood Special Education. And the primary purpose would be for this investigating the transition, but it could be that we decide to morph it into getting us through these next 2 years.
Couple of years, yeah. No, that's great.
Can I volunteer to be on that committee?
Of course you can.
I'm not sure how this works, but I would like
Yes, of course
to
you can.
join that if I could.
Perfect. All right, so why don't we just go down through it? I'd say facilities is myself, or no, it's not me anymore.
No,
It's
you
not
are.
me, it's you guys. Would you guys like to stay on
I'm
those?
good to stay on that.
I was gonna say, I've been on that a couple of years. I wouldn't mind trying a different one.
Yeah.
If, I was thinking policy. If
You wanna do
anyone
policy? Yep.
I don't know if you and Bob are, it's near and dear to your heart, but I haven't had that one in all the
Yeah,
years.
of course, you can, if Bob, if you would like to stay on there, I can remove myself and you can, Joanne can join.
I want to.
now, so
Yeah.
I feel like I can,
I'm the
you
only
know. make
What am I on?
informed
I'm on
decisions.
facilities and policy. I mean finance. I'll stay on finance and policy. Those are pretty.
Did you said you need someone for negotiations?
I do, and it's not a heavy year. It'll be
Okay, I
Could
can
be
do that.
good. Yeah. So you can remove me from that if you'd like.
negotiations.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You want me to stay on there?
Well, we need two.
Well, Bob is on there.
No,
No, he's on finance.
I'm not on negotiations.
What? Do I have a wrong paper? Negotiations. I had myself and.
Elizabeth.
Isabel.
Oh my God, you're weird. There's two W's. Come on, it's getting too late for me now.
A war fund.
Oh goodness.
So you,
I guess I can't remove myself then.
no.
No, I'll stay on there.
So,
Unless someone else would like to take that on.
okay.
Kayla.
Kayla's.
I already volunteered. Keith.
Okay, so you're on there. All right, I'll stay on negotiations.
So, what was a decision made about facilities?
Okay, so where is she going?
She wants your policy seat.
Yeah.
She's going on negotiations.
Yes, and the new ECC.
Yeah. Oh, Kayla. Yes, Kayla. And Joanne wants policy, so we'll stick Joanne.
I'm
in
off
your policies.
facilities.
Do you want to be in facilities? Would you like
It's a
to
good committee.
join that? Bob? You don't want to?
You get to know the building, the whole issues of the
Sure, if you want me to. Who am I replacing?
me.
Or I'm working with that?
Yeah.
Yay?
I can do the ECSE committee with Kayla. If anybody else doesn't want to do it. Okay. For myself is that
Who's on the ESC?
Kayla and myself if nobody else is on it. And then the wellness committee is me and Joanne. Are you two still loving wellness?
Yep.
Okay, excellent.
We
We're
love
still staying with
wellness.
those. All right, so let's
Bob
write
and I,
Bob and Nate, and then
facilities.
myself and Bob.
Yep.
And then myself and I didn't write this one down. This is
Okay,
Joanne. Sorry.
I heard my name 3 times.
Right.
I'm on
Your
facilities.
facilities.
And me.
And I'm on
And
finance.
yes, correct.
That's it.
Yes,
That's it.
Good.
those are good ones.
And
And then where was I at policy? So myself and Joanne. Negotiations is Casey and Kayla. Wellness is Joanne and Nate. And then the new ECSE committee is Kaylee, Casey, and Kayla. There we go. If I can get my words out. Excellent. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
You love it?
Yeah.
don't
Love
change
it?
it. Don't
Okay.
change anything.
Don't change it.
We need a motion.
I do believe we do, right? No, that was just action. I don't think we need a motion.
You need a motion.
Oh, okay, we do need a
I
motion.
move that we accept all those changes. to the assignments.
Excellent, and I'm not gonna have to read again. Nate seconded it. All in favor? Unanimous? Thank you. Okay. We have 13.5 personnel item. We have a retirement. 13.5.111. Lori Franklin, special education teacher. Do you want me to read this letter, or are you going to read it, or are you going to have a
You
hard
can
time
read
reading
it.
it? Okay.
I've
Or
had a.
have you guys read it, or do you want me to read it? I'll read it out loud. 'Cause
So
if I can
I
find
just
it,
want to
so
clarify that she's retiring at the end of the school year. Our contract stipulates that to let me know by December 1st. And she gave me 3 years notice. This is my
Yeah,
plan
it's
and has
been-
really sort of built a transition plan. And I still have been telling her it's not official until
Right.
it comes up with
And
so
I
she
did
made
want,
it official.
I don't really like seeing it in here. I mean, I do. I'm happy for her, but it's so sad. All right, so her letter that she brought to us, it says, "Dear Emily Thompson, it is with great fondness and appreciation that I write this letter of my impending retirement. After almost 23 years of service to the West Bath School and about 35 years across my teaching career, that's a lot, I plan on retiring at the end of this school year. As I reflect back over my career, I have grown the most as an educator under your leadership and with the implementations of the EL education model of at our school. I am grateful that you're valued. I'm sorry, now I gotta get closer because I don't have glasses on. I am grateful that you have valued my ideas and talents as an educator. You included me in grade level PLCs, encouraging me to share my observations and knowledge about student data and curriculum. You supported me when I wanted to create a different kind of summer school experience for my students. My summers designed and teaching Summer STEM Club will be cherished memories. You inspired me to share my craft on a broader scale by teaching master classes at EL national conferences. You empowered me to serve on the leadership teams that presented our school portfolios, which twice led to our EL education credentialed school status. I would like to thank the West Bath School Board for supporting our EL education partnership. My experiences with implementing the EL education model was pivotal to my growth as an educator. I learned better methods for supporting, engaging, and challenging students to grow both academically and with their character. Pedagogy? I don't even know how to say that word. Pedagogy?
This pedagogy
That's a good word.
was a
Good job. Was invaluable to my effectiveness as a teacher. I hope that West Bath School will continue to offer this to their staff in the future. Most special to me is the West Bath School community. I will miss the children, my colleagues, and the West Bath community. I have loved teaching at the West Bath School. I am grateful that I have this final year to savor the moments of teaching in this remarkable little school. My retirement will bring changes over the next year. Yes. My husband and I will be moving to North Carolina and beginning a new role as grandparents. Although I will be far away, West Bath School will always be in my heart. Oh, I'm so happy for her for being around her grandkids, but she will be missed. I'm so sorry. That is a great word. Like, good job, Miss Franklin, for getting me on that. Please tell her. Well, that letter's hard for me to read too because I've been very close to Miss Franklin personally for my kids. They worked with her and she was just absolutely wonderful, especially one of them. And I've seen her with the staff and she's just been excellent. So it's kind of, I'm sure you're going to feel that loss hard.
Me too. I echo everything that you just said about her. She was amazing.
She's wonderful. It's truly like she looked out for all the best interests of the child and just really understood him and got to know him and like just everything was, she focused on them. You know, she was a gift to the school. So I will miss her. And I want to thank her very much for the years that she's provided to our lovely little school.
I think she held the leadership role too.
Yeah.
We did kind of one.
She seemed to hold like a lot of hats and, you know, handle a lot of different things and she will be missed. But happy for her to go to her grandkids as sure you can imagine, Joanne.
Nice transition.
Oh, yep, so we're back to me, sorry. That was just a long thing to read. I don't really like reading them out loud. Public comments. Seeing any public comments? Online?
Oh, I didn't even look. I was watching Sinead. No, there are none.
None. Okay. Item 15, set next meeting date and location, which will be here, the West Bath. Oh, excuse me, hang on. First one, the town meeting date. This is going to be on May 4th. This is earlier than what we previously had, so we'll have to.
It's going to jumpstart our budget process
wow.
about a couple weeks earlier.
So we'll come right out of the fun holidays and then pretty close, we'll be getting ready to budget season. So.
I have to meet with Julie and draft a calendar, but
So May 4th.
Yeah.
That's which is about a month, moved up a month, right?
yeah, about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that because otherwise sometimes it often drags on. We finish our work and then we still have to wait for 5 or 6 weeks to find out what's going to happen next. So
Let's just make sure our work is not going to be too much this year. Our next meeting is not November 19th.
19th.
It's funny
November.
when we were in the meeting, I was like, that seems weird. I probably should mention that. I did. Sorry.
that's all right. Let me
What's
look
the
it up.
date?
It is not November 19th. It is supposed to be December something.
It
Third
was
December.
December 17th.
Yeah. So our
December
next
17th.
meeting is December 17th at 6 o'clock here at the West Bath School.
December 17th.
17th, yep. And before I adjourn, does anybody have any questions about anything we discussed? No. There's a lot, Kayla. Thank you. All right, I will make a motion to adjourn. Nate seconding. All in
You're
favor?
quick tonight.
I know,
his
I'm liking
favorite.
it. All right, unanimous. Thank you so much.